Hi, it's Liz from West Star Tarot, and today I am doing the Temperance card in response to Mascha's Top Tarot Trump series. So it's not one of my favorites, and part of it is because I struggle a little bit with the meaning. I've read about it, and well, let's just look at the good old Rider-Waite-Smith version here. So we look at this card and we see this angelic being with these huge mega red wings, and it's rather an androgynous looking being, and they have a halo around their head. They've got some sort of disc or symbol on their forehead. It looks like it could be the sun, and it's kind of on the third eye chakra. Then we have this crown in the background and mountains and this path heading towards the mountains. So like, oh, you've got a long way to go, and the mountains will be, you've got some obstacles in your way, but hey, keep going and you'll reach your goal. Is that what that card means? But no, according to a lot of books and resources that you look at, it means balance. It means moderation, frugality. And I look at that and I think, really? And if I were getting a reading and I didn't know much about tarot and I saw this card and the person told me, oh, this is about moderation, I would think, it is? I don't know. So I struggle with this card, and I always have, and perhaps I always will. I mean, I'm always reading about it and looking it up in, you know, standard books, guidebooks, or tarot books. You know, a lot of times you read that this is Archangel Michael. Then other times I've read it's the goddess Iris. You know, and then of course we do have those iris right there. And then this is the symbol for fire. Of course we have water, so like balance between fire and water, balance between land and water. But of course, being from Boston, or growing up in Boston, I can never not see the Citgo sign outside Fenway Park when I look at that angel. So that's another piece of it that makes me get confused. So all in all, my reaction to the Temperance card is confusion. I mean, it feels so straightforward when you think of it in terms of balance and moderation and frugality. And in fact, this is from the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and I thought, oh, let me just look at the little white book and see what it says. And guess what? Economy, moderation, frugality, management, accommodation. So seriously, really? That's what that means with that big old angel on it? And then the reverse is things connected with churches, religions, sex, S-E-C-T-S, the priesthood. Also unfortunate combinations, disunion, competing interests, which I guess I can see in terms of, you know, the pouring the water back and forth in the cups. So I don't know. Anyway, I pulled out some kind of different looks at Temperance because for me, like I said, that standard RWS and even the Mascha I find a little bit confusing. Here we see from the World Spirit card. So this being, I guess, is still a little bit androgynous. They're blue. They have kind of fiery hair. And instead of pouring water back and forth between those chalices, to me, that looks like they're pouring fire back and forth. They are standing with one foot on the earth and one foot in the water. And there we have the sun again, which we saw in Michael's or Iris's third eye chakra. So this is kind of a more modern interpretation, but basically same thing. Here we have from the Shimmering Veil. A little bit more abstract. Sorry, the sun is, whoops, shining there. But, oh dear, there we go. But you can see it's basically the same thing. It looks like this angelic being with the sun shining behind them, and we can see their wings, and they are pouring water or some sort of liquid back and forth between the cups. This is from The Shimmering Veil by Cilla Conway. And Cilla says, temperance is the first glimmering of the higher self. Feathered wings curl softly around the illuminated, oh dear, sorry about that, the illuminated figure. Carefully, mindfully, the angel pours liquid from one chalice to another, an alchemical mix representing the combination of opposites, dark and light, conscious and unconscious, male and female. It seems that for now we have survived death, because temperance is in a position between 13, death, and 15, devil. And this iridescent angelic figure appears to show us, oh, this is, I'm sorry about, I'm not even going to hold that up, the different aspects of ourselves. As we return from death's embrace, we now learn how to balance thought and action. It was previously over-intellectualized. We now can modify that with feeling or intuition, I guess thus the water. The sensory urges can also be tempered with awareness. Traditionally, temperance indicates a need to blend together a variety of different qualities or ideas to bring about a new and more profound sense of self. The Heros Gamos, the sacred marriage, we now have access to a deep inner guidance and can temper any given situation with silence and patience. So patience is another word that I often see associated with the temperance card. So, suggested meaning: balancing energies in yourself and your life. Variety, mixing and matching of unusual ideas. Opening a new sense of connection. An angelic helper manifested in the outer world. Awareness of what is needed in a given situation. Patience. So I feel like that meaning makes sense to me when I look at this. Oh dear, let me find this card that actually shows up. When I look at this card, I feel like the that meaning makes sense. So I'm feeling a little, once I started looking at some of these guidebooks and I started thinking about it, I thought, okay, this makes me feel a little bit better. And I'm getting, feeling more positive, or not even more positive or negative, but just more of, I have more of an understanding of what people are meaning when they talk about temperance. So this one, I really like this one. This one is from the Delta Enduring, and it's not called temperance. It's called, I don't know if you can see that, harm reduction. So this is from the Delta Enduring Guidebook, harm reduction. In the moments after an unintentional overdose, two companions embrace. The spent vial of naloxone on the coffee table. There is no judgment nor anger, only understanding between them. There was always a risk this could happen, but safety measures were put in place with trust and compassion. The loss of a life has been prevented. Harm reduction sits in the position, traditionally occupied by temperance, a card reflecting the need to find balance. So there's that word again, balance. While achieving balance in your life is a worthwhile pursuit, it puts the emphasis on the individual to make that happen. demanding in some ways, demanding in some ways to simply overcome great hurdles in one's life to find inner peace. This reading ignores the roles communities, families, and partners have in helping achieve the balance. Like the traditional temperance card, harm reduction suggests that you have a long-term vision of your goals, which would reflect that pathway that we spoke about in the Rider-Waite-Smith, the pathway there that leads to the mountains. And if you want to, look at it, you can say, okay, that's a long road ahead and I've got some obstacles to overcome. But look, once I get over those mountains and, over the challenge and obstacles, there's this shining crown waiting for me. Staying on the right path, however, means asking for directions at times. And knowing when you or a fellow traveler needs help. This card introduces the idea that creating a life filled with balance and moderation is something not only to foster in oneself, but in others as well. So, seeking balance and moderation in helping others in our community reach that goal. So instead of super highs and lows, mountains and valleys, we'll find a more moderate pathway to move forward on in our life. The last one I wanted to talk about is the Temperance card from Next World. And this is the little pocket edition card. So again, we see the angel, we see the pool, we see one foot sort of in the water and one on land, and we see this pouring of liquid. And this is Christie C. Road, and the Delta Enduring is by Egan. So this is from the guidebook. Working in tandem with land and sea, Temperance finds a sense of grounding when she listens to what nature asks of her. When it rains, we seek shelter. When it's sweltering, we drink water. When we hurt inside, we face the sun and breathe deeper and faster. Temperance learned balance and patience. Feisty and aggressive in her teen years and constructively driven as an adult, she manifests her truest self without outside influence. Now it's funny because this is saying without outside influence, and Egan was saying we need to interact with families, communities, friends, and so forth. So two different twists on that. Temperance is channeled. The kiss of a lover and the taste of a vice no longer activate your self-worth. Letting go of the ego now becomes the most vital path to joy. Temperance loves herself, her broken bones, her healed parts, and her humanity. Temperance may still fall. She's a musician, a woman, and a survivor of violence. She works nights, lives days, sleeps when she can, and fights when she can't. She will break sometimes as the next world is being built on a world that historically silences women. But she will rise, and she knows this. It's that self-awareness that allows moderation. Temperance asks you to forgive yourself with every break, but to try with every new morning. So, I'm not sure if these cards that I pulled help us or help me in coming to a place of a deeper understanding of the Temperance card. And I think, of course, in readings, we usually, when we're doing readings for other people and even for myself, I don't just pull one card. So Temperance in and of itself may be, a little bit tricky, but if you put it in with other cards and there's a context of other cards around it, then, we can look at it and maybe have a deeper, clearer understanding of what it means. And, you know, I guess there's nothing wrong with feeling like you have an angel on your side, or a goddess, or some higher being that's helping you as you struggle to find balance and moderation, and as you struggle to walk that path and overcome the challenges and the obstacles that life presents us as we're moving forward to that golden crown, that goal in the distance. Knowing that we have this angel behind us helping us is really kind of a good feeling. And so I guess we can look at temperance in that way. So tell me what your thoughts are about temperance. You know, what do you think? Is it a card you readily understand? Is it a card that you look forward to seeing in a reading? Do you find it confusing? And what are some of your favorite temperance cards? So thank you, Mascha, for having us do this wonderful tag or pathway or meandering through the major arcana. And as always, I wish you peace and love.